Curator Alison Fox reveals the Isle of Man holds more Viking silver per square kilometer than all neighboring regions combined. This small island served as a unique financial hub during the Norse settlement era between 798 and 820 AD. Merchants gathered here to secure wealth long before modern banking systems existed in Northern Europe. The sheer density of coins hints at an early, sophisticated system for storing value away from mainland threats. Historical records confirm Vikings conquered and settled this strategic location by the year 820, transforming it into a trading nexus. The founding of the ancient parliament in 800 AD coincided with its rise as a center for maritime commerce. Alison Fox explains how these early settlers created an environment where wealth could be safely accumulated over centuries. It was here that the concept of storing value outside traditional kingdoms first took root. The discovery of 36 coins by metal detectorists in 2024 underscores the sheer volume of treasure buried beneath this soil. Most artifacts date to the reign of Edward the Confessor, proving sustained activity well after initial settlement. Alison Fox notes that this continuous flow of currency validates its status as a proto-financial center. The landscape itself acts as an archive for these lost economic secrets from the Viking Age. This financial legacy persisted until Viking rule ended when Alexander III received the keys to the island in 1265. Before that transfer, the region operated as a distinct economic zone separate from mainland powers like Scotland or England. Alison Fox traces how this unique status allowed wealth to accumulate undisturbed for generations. The transition marks the end of an era where offshore storage was pioneered on these shores. The year was 1265 when the last Viking hand finally released its grip on this rocky fortress. For centuries the Norse ruled a hub where Irish sea trade flowed like liquid gold. Kings and chieftains stored their riches here rather than risking the open seas. Yet this paradise of wealth was built on a foundation that would eventually crumble under its own weight. The year was October when 3 massive Icelandic banks collapsed into a financial abyss. Foreign liabilities had swollen to $100 billion against a domestic economy of only 14. The scale was so vast it dwarfed the entire national output of a modern nation. This same madness had roots stretching back 8 centuries to a rocky island in the Irish Sea. Vikings arrived in 798 and established control by 820, transforming the Isle of Man into a massive treasury. They founded the Tynwald Parliament in 800, creating an enduring system for managing wealth and trade. The island became known as an offshore financial center due to its unprecedented density of Viking silver hoards. This unique legacy persisted for centuries until rule transferred to Scotland under Alexander III in 1265. A recent discovery revealed 36 coins minted during the reign of Edward the Confessor. Most dates between 1042 to 65, showing a century later than the initial conquest. These were not looted spoils but carefully deposited assets that grew over generations. The sheer density of treasure found suggests a culture obsessed with stored wealth rather than spent gold. In 2006, a bank launched an internet service attracting billions from distant lands. They took over a Channel Islands institution and expanded their reach across the ocean. The leverage ratio reached 7 times the entire gross national product in a single decade. This same pattern of reckless expansion would repeat itself in the digital age with terrifying speed. The myth that they only plundered collapsed under the weight of buried silver coins. They treated currency like a living thing that needed constant verification before storage. Modern headlines called it a crisis, while history showed this was just a different kind of greed. The same human flaw drove both the ancient hoarders and the modern speculators to ruin. The difference between the two eras lies in how they managed their digital and physical vaults. One used stone chambers while the other relied on servers and internet connections. Both systems promised safety while inviting the very risks they claimed to avoid. The island became a sanctuary for those seeking to hide from the chaos outside. In the year 1265, Viking rule over the Isle of Man ended as Alexander III took possession. Despite this political shift to Scotland, the Tynwald Parliament founded in 800 remained standing as a continuous institution. A unique governance system outlasted the people who built it, preserving the island's distinct heritage through centuries of change. The legacy of Viking financial ingenuity survived long after their ships departed, leaving a foundation for future offshore systems. The Prime Minister resigned after documents revealed his offshore assets hidden in a shell company. His wife co-owned the entity that held millions in bonds they kept secret. The scandal forced a government into exile and left the nation reeling. History repeats itself not in events but in the human nature that drives them. Their financial hub became a monument to both ingenuity and the eternal cycle of greed. The coins they buried were checked for quality before being sealed away. Modern investors still rely on the same offshore structures that Vikings perfected. The island remains a graveyard of silver and a symbol of financial excess. The same silver that once secured their wealth now lies silent in the soil. We still build our vaults on the same fragile foundations as those Vikings did. The question is not whether they will fall but when the next bubble bursts. What happens when the gold runs out and only the silence remains? Subscribe for more financial history stories.